So this is the beginner real estate investing group. Introduce yourself if you haven't in the chat, so I know where you're at. And what we're going to do today is we're going to get into what I call my 6-step system. And I don't think anybody here has heard it. I'm not sure if y'all have heard it before, but essentially what my 6-step system is what I'm going to do is my goal is to help you manifest the company that you want your company to become. Okay. But the only way that you can manifest it is by actually visualizing it. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to practice. We're going to go through what your company looks like as a real estate investor. Okay. And then what we'll do is I'm going to go through every single one of your departments. You guys have no idea really, unless you tell me if you heard this before, but essentially your real estate investing company is divided into anywhere from 3 to 7 departments, depending on what you're focusing on. All right, which type of niche you're focusing on. Okay, and it doesn't matter which niche it is, you're going to have these departments, right? And I'm going to go through those right now, and we're going to go through all the different, like basically within those departments, kind of just the ideas of what you should be focusing on. When you get it started in real estate investing, and you guys all know this, I'm sure, because y'all are getting started, the truth of the matter is that there is a lot of stuff to do. There are a lot of moving parts, right? So all these departments that we're going to go through today, they're all supposed to be worked on at the same time, right? That's where people start getting overwhelmed, right? So it's like, everybody's always like, oh, I joined these programs and I start educating and they get so overwhelmed. I don't think the education is overwhelming people, right? The education is just like, it's like a breath of fresh air, right? You're like, oh yeah, I get that. That's cool. But what it is the implementation. It's like breaking everything down into like, what should I be focusing on first, right? Because the truth of the matter is, in real estate investing, there is a lot of stuff that you need to be doing in order to get started. And it just is, right? So everybody always gets overwhelmed. And the reason they get overwhelmed is because, number one, they spend a lot of money. So they're freaking out about like, oh my gosh, I just spent all this money on real estate investing and learning how to real estate invest. And I'm just like freaking out, right? I know that because I've coached many students like that. And so I've tried to eliminate that with REI USA, right? So I don't want you to have this feeling of like, oh, I just spent all my money on education. Like now I don't have any money to learn how to actually implement into my business, right? So that kind of REI USA eliminates that. But the second part is like, I really honestly, like I've been educating myself, but I have no idea where to start. Like I get like all these concepts, and there's a lot of opportunities and niche and stuff, but like, what should I be doing first? And so I'm going to break down, I call it my 6-step system, but I'm going to break that down today and just give you an overview of what that is. And then this beginners group is essentially going through my 6-step system and each of the departments, and then really kind of just fine tuning all of those so that you know which steps you should be focusing on. Now, as we get into the departments, I want you to know that the most important thing that you can be doing, if you're like, I have no idea at all right now what I should be doing to focus on. Everybody's like, oh, I got to create my business. I got to do my logos or whatever. I got to do this and that. I got to get my company all set up and running. No, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing that you should be focusing on is marketing. Hands down, always marketing. Gone are the days that you can find properties on the MLS. You know what I'm saying? Like you just can't, you cannot be only looking for properties on the MLS because you ain't ever going to get nothing. Too many hands in the pot, too much competition. All right. So if I asked you right now, and I just posted this out in the private Facebook group. All right. So if y'all are in the private Facebook group, please make sure that you join, and then you also, put down that you get the notifications for this so you can see what's going on. But in the private Facebook group, I just posted out, what marketing are you doing right now to find deals? The most important thing that you can be doing in your business is marketing. If you're asking yourself, what should I be doing right now? The question is, are you marketing? If you are not marketing, if that's not automated and systematized and you're doing it yourself, that ain't going to work, just so y'all know. But if you're not, having consistent marketing, you ain't never getting deals. I'm sorry. The way the world is turning, the way the market's turning, which is this way, right? It's all about marketing now, and it's all about creative deal structuring. So you want to be learning how to do creative deal structures. You want to learn it. You want to be learning about passive income, and you want to be learning. You want to be getting your marketing automated and systematized. All my students that are doing well, all their marketing is automated and systematized. They don't think about having to worry about calls coming in. They just come in. Okay. And so if you're asking yourself right now, what should I be focusing on? That is what you should be focusing on. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's get into your department. Oh, Lois says, I'm Lois from the Atlanta area. My second webinar with you. I'm still navigating the community, visiting other webinars so far. I'm very impressed with what I've seen and heard. Still super excited. Yes. Good. Thank you so much. I'm telling you, it's only going to get better. I promise. We got so much good stuff coming up. I can't wait. But y'all, it's hard to implement everything at once, right? Basically, what happened is like the first week of January, we weren't even ready. And I was just like, I told my team, I was like, just put it out in the world, right? Just put it out there. I don't even care if it's done, if it's not ready. Because my coach, he basically tells me, he says, you don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get it going. Right. That's what he tells me. And so when we launched REI USA, it was just like, bare minimum. And as we move on week by week by week, you'll see more and more and more stuff being implemented. And we got some good stuff coming out. So just be prepared. Okay. So let's get into my 6-step system. All right. Has anybody heard about this before? Put it in the chat if you've heard. But I know if you're one of my students, you definitely know this. Okay. This is your real estate investing company. Doesn't matter what you're doing. This is your real estate investing company. All right. And guess what? If you're a newbie and you're just starting out, right, you have to put you in this box right here. Right. And, you can't ever, your goal is to get you out of that box, right? So my real estate investing company, I don't do anything with it except for just give a thumbs up right now. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm working on coaching and building REI USA. And our real estate investing business, we have people that manage that. Okay. And let's see you. Okay, so that's the head of the company, right? And these are all of your departments. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in order of your step-by-step process of what you should be focusing on to get started in real estate investing. Are you excited? Excited? All right, so the first one right here is your office admin. Office admin. Okay. In your office admin department, this is where we just talked about. You want to be thinking about the structure, right? Like your LLC or your S Corp. You want to be getting your phone set up. You want to be completely electronic and virtual. Now, as we go through all this, and I'll put this down. As we go through all these departments, okay, and you're like, ooh, I haven't done that, or whatever. My 7 Critical Steps online course is in the members portal under online courses. And that is like 7 modules of us, going deeper and deeper and deeper into these departments, right? So highly recommend that you haven't watched that you should be watching the 7 Critical Steps online course. Okay, it's a free course for y'all. I used to sell it and I'm just giving it to y'all for free. Okay, so this is like office admin is basically your basic structure, like the basic foundations of your business and what you should be doing to set those up. Okay, so and when I say your phone system, I mean you gotta answer a phone. So either it's like Google Voice or Grasshopper or whatever you're using. When I say electronic and virtual, you need to be able to, hang on just one second. You need to be able to handle 80% of all you do through your phone. Because the truth of the matter is that if you are a real estate investor, you are not sitting at your, at your desk all day long. You're out looking at properties. The more properties that you look at, the more offers you can put in, right? So if you're sitting at your desk getting your stuff done, you're not being productive. Okay. So what I mean by being electronic and virtual is that you can handle everything through your phone, which means you're cloud-based. The question is, are you cloud-based? Right. So that means running everything through Google Drive or some sort of like, a system in the cloud that can manage all your documents, and maybe even like, driving for dollars or deal machine app or whatever you're doing, or, anything, any kind of apps or anything that you can, y'all know, y'all can run your phone. Y'all can run your business from your phone nowadays, right? And you need to be out looking at properties, sitting and working at your office all the time, just ain't gonna work. Okay. All right. So the next department is your marketing department. And that's the steps, right? So essentially your first step is like, okay, I gotta start thinking about setting up my office. Right? I need a phone. Essentially, you need a phone. This is for me, these are the three most important things that you should be focusing on in this department. Now, your office is like, there's a lot of different things that you can be doing with your office. But for me, it's the three most important things are these three things. And we'll do the three most important things for every single one of these, okay? Marketing. When I say marketing, you need to have three strategies of how you're finding properties. What are the three strategies that you're looking for properties? If you have any suggestions of marketing strategies, put them into the chat so I know what you're working on. What are you doing right now for marketing to look for properties? Now we'll get into this. If not, next time we meet we'll get into some marketing strategies, and I'll go through like online versus direct mail. Right. So I categorize my marketing into three different types of marketing. Okay. I'm not going to get deep into what you should be focusing on this time, because we're going to just go through all these, but there's three different kinds. Okay. There's free, there's direct mail, and there's online marketing. And you should be doing one of each of those. Okay, one of each of those. Free could be like Craigslist, whatever, putting out bandit signs, handwritten bandit signs, whatever, going on Zillow and looking on Zillow, realtor.com or whatever it is, like free stuff. Right now, you don't want to be doing all three free things, because when you do free, like nothing comes of it. All right. Okay, so that free is very hard to find deals. Okay, free is very hard to find deals. Okay. You want to mix it up a little bit. You want to diversify. See, my parents were both, my mother was a stockbroker and my father was an estate planner. Yeah, that's how I grew up. And my whole life, I always heard diversify, right? You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, right? So here is definitely where you want to be diversifying. So I would do one of each. I would do a free, a direct mail, and an online marketing, Now, online marketing could be free. If you are not taking advantage of online marketing, if you're not taking advantage of social media and finding properties, selling your properties, anything like this, finding private lenders, whatever you want to be doing, then you are missing out on a whole world of finding deals. Okay, or selling your deals or whatever it is, right? So you can get into like free groups and post out that you're looking for properties to buy. I've sold properties on the social media. I've bought properties on social media. Found private lenders on social media. I mean, if you're not taking advantage of Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, you're missing out. All right. So online marketing, you could also pay. You could pay for marketing. I mean, my students, I tell them minimum $1,000 a month on marketing, minimum. If you want to be a student with me, you've got to spend more than $1,000 a month, because it just doesn't work, right? So I'm one of these people that I don't promote like free stuff. I say like, let's just scale your business up and let's get this thing going, right? So we do a minimum of $1,000 a month, but my students that are spending over $1,000 a month, they're doing, I mean, I have one student right now closing on 3 deals. And, so they're doing a lot of deals. So, you got to pay to play. I get if people don't have money, I totally get that because you're starting out and stuff like that. But your goal is to be spending $1,000 a month on marketing. Okay. And that could be through Carrot. Like if you go into the partners page and you're like, oh yeah, I do want to do online marketing. I love online marketing because essentially what happens is that you set it up, set it and forget it. And then the leads are for you, only for you, right? Nobody else gets those leads. Okay. Whereas like direct mail marketing is like, you just mailing out hundreds of thousands of letters and just hoping people call. Okay. But the online marketing is set up just for you. You put your parameters in and they come in. All right. So, and if you have a full-time job and you don't have time to be doing online marketing, to doing marketing at all, then you should be doing online marketing. Okay. Because what happens is it takes a little while to set it up. It's a little bit of work, but essentially you do nothing except for get a lead in and give them a call, nothing else. And whereas in direct mail marketing, you're going to have to like answer that phone whenever it rings. If you don't answer that phone, then you snooze, you lose, right? Whereas online marketing, like they're filling out your order form, your stuff, and then you call them within the next like 24 to 48 hours. No rush. Okay. So direct mail marketing is either motivated or unmotivated sellers. All right. And depending on how your personality is, do you want to do motivated or unmotivated? Unmotivated means like, I don't want to be rushed into closing a deal, right? I don't know a lot of different creative deal structures. So I don't want to be rushed into trying to come up with something for them, right? Motivated sellers are like bankruptcy and like, coming up foreclosures and things like that. You'll be doing a lot of subject twos and you'll be paying off a lot of, mortgages that are underwater or whatever. Those are more creative deal structures. Whereas like unmotivated is like, you can come up with like, whatever, all owner financing and you can like pay off, you can partner or whatever you can do, right? So you have free. This is the 3 strategies: free, direct mail marketing based on unmotivated and motivated sellers. And then you have online marketing, right? Which is like you set it and forget it and the leads come to you. Okay. Let's see what else. What do you guys, of all the stuff that I just said, are y'all interested in any one of those? And are you doing any one of those? Put it into the chat so I can get a feel for what y'all are working on. And this is the most important. Remember, this is the most important thing that you can be doing right now is marketing. If you want to get a deal done, you should be marketing. Don't worry about whether or not you have the money or whether or not you can do the deal or whether or not you know how to do like, close it or whatever. Don't worry about any of that because that's the easy part. The hard part is finding the deals. That's the hard part. And if you can't figure it out, we just wholesale it, post it out in the group so somebody can buy it here. Okay. This one here is the next step. So now we've set up our company. We're starting to get our marketing going, right? And now the next step is now people are starting to call, right? Because now you got your marketing. So now you got to answer the phones and start talking to them. And that is acquisitions. Acquisitions. Okay, that's acquisitions. All right. When we talk about acquiring properties, we talk about what I call my ARV formula process. All right. The ARV formula process, which is the ARV times 70% minus repairs minus wholesale fee equals mail. All right, write that down. You need to learn this formula. If you've never heard this, this is the formula. Write this down, put it on a Post-it note, and put it next to your desk. So you start your desk so that you can start thinking about this formula on a regular basis. Okay. The ARV is the retail value, the after repair value. After you fix it up, what is it going to sell for? You find this through comps, right? The after repair value is based on comps. Okay. The 70% is called an LTV. That's the loan to value. This is how much your lender is going to give you based on the repair cost. And it really depends on your lender, what it is. Sometimes your lender would say 65%. Some will go all the way up to 80%, right? So you have to ask your lender what this is so that you can run your numbers based on what they're going to give you, right? But most of the time it's around 70%. So we use 70%. So it's called loan to value is what that's called. And that's basically how much money will the lender give me based on the ARV, okay? Loan to value. And then you want to subtract from that number the repairs. So you do the ARV times 70% is what, all right? And then you minus repairs, okay? How do you figure out what your repairs are? Repair estimate. You have the repair estimate. Is there a repair estimate in the directory for REI USA? Yes, you have a repair estimate. You have like a cheat sheet, right? So you can come up with costs and stuff like this. Now, you know, as you get into it, you really start fine tuning all that. But to start, it's a good starting point. You know what I'm saying? You need to use the repair estimate. Okay. All right, so now you have the ARV, which is the after repair value, times your 70%, which is the loan to value, minus your repair estimate. And then once you figure that out, then if you're going to wholesale it, you subtract your wholesale fee from that. Okay, so let's practice. Get your calculator out, right? And let's practice doing this. Where's my calculator? Okay. Let's say you guys tell me the answer. I'm not telling you all the answer. You have to tell me the answer. Okay. Ooh. All right. So the price, the ARV of the house is $225. Okay. And then you multiply by 70% minus 0.7. And then, so now you have that number. And now what's your repair estimate? Let's just say our repair estimate is 50 grand. Okay. You subtract that number from 50 grand. Oh, I forgot to put 0.7. Is that minus 50? Okay, what is that number? What is that number? And put it into the chat if you've calculated it up. And then let's say you want to wholesale this deal. All right. So this number right here, when you come up with this number right here, then it's called the Mayo. You want to have, this would be like if you were a rehabber. Right. And then if you were a wholesaler, yes, 107,500. Good. Now let's just say that's the price. If you are a rehabber, this is what you could pay for the property. But now let's just say you're a wholesaler and you want to make 10 grand. So you just take 10 grand and subtract it. And then you would have 97,500, right? So as a wholesaler, you would have to pay 97,500 for that property. And as a rehabber, you could pay 107,500. Okay. And that's like a kind of a quick formula, right? Then you're going to get into like deal analysis and really like look at the numbers as a whole. You really want to be at around like 15% ROI, you know, when you're running the numbers. But for now, at least you know the ARV formula and you can practice that. The Mayo stands for maximum allowable offer. Maximum allowable offer. So as a wholesaler, I can offer this. And as like a rehabber, I can offer this. Okay. Something like that. Okay. Okay. Somebody has a question too. Oh, Ron. Let me see. You want to ask a question? I can allow you to talk. All right. Ask me a question. Unmute yourself first though. If you can. Can you unmute yourself? Or did you not want to talk? Ask to unmute. No? No, I'm exit full screen. No, nothing? Sorry. Okay, so you're not asking any questions, maybe. All right. We'll do gallery view. Now I can only see Ron. Let me see. Okay, I'm back. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. So now we have the acquisitions part. And so you kind of, and this is actually a step-by-step process, right? You're going to answer the phone. You'll fill out a seller lead sheet, right? You get the information, ask all the questions, and then you'll start running comps, right? The only way that you're ever going to know repairs is if you go out and look at the property. So then you go out and look at the property. And then after you do that, you come back and you figure out what your offer is going to be. That's basically what the process is. Okay. That's the acquisitions process. And then you're going to come up with the offers. And the offers, you want to learn how to do 3 to 5 different offers. Okay. You're not just a cash offer person. Nope. You can't just make only a cash offer. You want to learn creative deal structuring. Okay, creative deal structuring. And we got plenty. I mean, every teacher on here, they can all do creative deal structures. Definitely go to Williams, go to Carson, go to Mike's Wholesaling. Everybody, I go to Mike's Land. They all know how to do creative deal structuring. And you will learn like different techniques of creative deal structuring through all of them. Okay. Because everybody knows how to do creative deal structuring. Because if you want to be an investor that is doing a lot of deals, you have to learn this strategy, especially right now. Okay. Okay, good. So ARV formula. So now we're the acquisitions. We're acquiring this property and we're making 3 to 5 different offers. Okay. This is creative deal structuring. CDS at its finest. Okay. Now we got it under contract. We put the offer in and we're like, hey, we'll buy this thing for $107,000. That's our offer. And the seller says, yes, that sounds awesome. Let me sign the contract. Let's get this thing done. I want to get it sold. All right. So now you've put it under contract. Well, guess what? You need to find some money. The finance department. Right? The finance department. So now you have to find money for your deals, right? Under the finance department, there's 2 different categories. I'm sorry, there's 3. There's 3. There's always 3 in every single one. All right. But the 3 categories are private money, hard money, and creative deal structuring. Right? Private, hard, or creative deal structuring. Okay, especially for investors. Now, right now, of course, you get like super awesome interest rates if you have good credit and you have some money to put down. I know a lot of people are just going out there and buying as many properties as they can in their own name, and you can buy up to 4, and then you maybe could switch those over later and do a quick claim deed or something like that. But for now, you could, if you needed to, buy them in your own name, and then you could figure out how to make them investment properties later. But you could also just go through a hard money lender, right? So if you're going to hold them, right? I would consider, number one, you talking to a hard money lender that does like rentals, or looking at buying a couple for yourself first. All right. Because the interest rates are so low. All right. Or what you could do is if you're rehabbing the homes, right, then you could, you need to go and find a hard money lender or a private money lender to buy those properties. Okay. And then finally, with creative deal structuring, there's so many different options, right? So if somebody's free and clear, you could do owner financing. If somebody's behind on their mortgage, you could do a subject to. If somebody has a lot of equity in their home, right, but they're behind on their payments, you could partner with them, Let's see what else is there. There's so many different types of creative deal structures out there, right? So I would highly recommend learning all those, because especially with passive income, like if you're interested in getting into properties that you hold on to, that's where the creative deal structures come in. All right. And this is the truth, because I just talked to William. We just did a podcast together. And basically what he said was he did exactly what I just told you, which was he bought 4 properties in his own name. And then after that, the banks were like, you're over leveraged, dude. I'm not giving you any money. So he started really educating himself on how to buy houses without any money, or using the owner's equity in their house. All right. So that's what you want to learn how to do, is how to learn how to use the equity in somebody else's house to buy the property, or to use their loan to buy the property. And that's called creative deal structuring. Okay, if anybody doesn't know about that. Okay, that's under finance. So you have private money, you have hard money, and you have private money, hard money, and creative deal structuring. And we have a teacher coming on, Yukiko, and she's going to be teaching multifamily stuff, small multifamily. She's coming on. And then we have another one. Lolita is going to be coming on talking about private money. So we have a lot of people, like a lot of really good teachers coming on. So just keep on the lookout for I try to get the teachers to be kind of specific. I don't want a whole bunch of people just teaching like wholesaling 101. That's boring, right? I was like, no, you got to pick a better topic than that, right? So they're getting like really super specific, which is kind of cool, right? Okay, the next one. So now we got some money. We went out there, we talked to his lender, and we found some money. Now we can buy this rehab that we want to do, right? And then after you find the property, right, and you find the money and you can close on the deal, right? Now you have to start the construction. So that's this right here. That's this one, construction. All right. When I talk about construction, I'm talking about contractors, scope of work. I'm talking about spec sheets, scope of works, spec sheets, and contractors. Project management, basically is what it is. That's basically what the construction process is how do you manage your projects? How do you manage them and make money? That's the key, because this is where everybody loses all their money. Now, if you're a wholesaler, obviously you're not going to have this as one of your departments. Unless you do hoteling, or like pre-wholesaling or whatever, where you get in there and you just do like light cleanup. A lot of people do that as well too. And that would be under the construction, where they say like, oh, I can come in and just kind of clean this property up and then I can sell it for a little bit more. That's some wholesalers do that. Okay. But if you're just going to wholesale it, then you would not have this department. Okay. Just so you know. And if you do not understand wholesaling, I highly recommend that you go to Mike Watkins' Friday's class. He does every Friday. And then he has a whole free wholesaling workshop right on the members portal that he just offered to REI USA. And he's there, and he's every week he's there, and all his replays are there as well too. And every single week he's got some new topic that he's teaching, right? So he's here every week for you guys to hold you accountable. So if you really want to learn how to wholesale, I'd be going to his weekly event. Okay. It's like a personal coach, really. I mean, you literally have a personal coach with Mike, because he's every Friday there for you. And then Alice is every Saturday morning. She's there available for you. She does the Arizona meeting, but she's just there every Saturday. So if you need somebody to talk to, I'm stuck with this or whatever, then I would hop onto one of those two. Okay. Let's see what else. And then finally we have management. Right. So this is the department where it's like, okay, I'm gonna rehab it and hold it, or am I gonna rehab it and sell it? So we have management here. And then we have liquidations here. Okay, so management is like, I'm going to buy and hold this thing. So like, you know, a vacation rental or a rental, something, or multifamily where you're going to hold on to it. That would be this department. And then if you're going to rehab it and then sell it, that'd be liquidations. Or if you're going to wholesale it, then you're going to have a liquidations department. Okay, so depending on kind of which structure that you, in which niche that you go into, is where like you may not have one of these. Okay. And so let's see. So under management, this is like, I mean, this is essentially, this is rentals, turnkey. Like I had just one of my students right now, and she's like, is there anybody out there that would buy a house that has like a tenant in it already? I was like, yeah, that's called turnkey rentals. That's going to be huge. When I first got into real estate investing back in like 2010, just had no idea about real estate investing. I kept hearing over and over, turnkey rentals. Because as we were coming out of the downturn, I mean, in the downturn, everybody was renting, and it was rentals was like, if you're into rent, you know, if you were into investing, you were doing rentals in the downturn. So now we're coming into another downturn, and you're going to be hearing all about rentals, turnkey rentals. You'll be hearing about that more and more and more. And so you could totally like, you know, you could totally buy a house, fix it up, put a renter in it, and then find somebody to buy it. And that is worth more than just buying a house and rehabbing as a rental. So some people just want to buy properties that already have the renter in it, and they have like, and they can show that, you know, the renter has, you know, been paying for 6 months, you know, properly. You know what I'm saying? That is a huge area that you can get into. Or you could just rehab it and then sell it, right? Or you could rehab it and hold on to it. All right. And you could do that for the multifamily or single family. Okay. Multifamily or single family. All right. So that is management. When you get into management, like 3 things would be like training your tenants, tenant screening, training your tenants, right? And then you know, how do you profit from rentals, right? Managing those rentals properly. Okay, that's the management side. You would have the department, which would be basically like, how do you find your tenants? How do you screen your tenants? And how do you manage your tenants once you have them? And that would be under management. I ran out of room. I'm not going to put it down here. How you find your tenants, how do you screen them, and how do you manage them once they come in? And screening is just as important as finding and managing, right? You want to find good tenants, right? And then finally, liquidations. And liquidations is like, if you're wholesaling your property, liquidations is like having a buyer's list, right? So once you get it under property and you create a wholesaling package, right, to blast out, to give out to everybody, then you need to have that buyer's list, right? And y'all all should know where you get your buyer's list from, right? You just go onto the members portal, and all of our members are right there. And you could just take all those people's information, and you could just blast out an email to everybody right then and there. Or you could call them up and say, look, I'm in your area. This is in your area. Would you be interested in buying this house? Because their phone number, everybody's phone number and emails there for everybody. Okay. So you definitely have an instant buyer's list. If you're a wholesaler, you have these people. And then number 2, on the members portal, you have a place to list your properties for sale. And please take advantage of this. If you ever find any properties if you have any properties for sale, you should be listing those. Just go into the members portal and click on properties for sale, add a property, right, under properties for sale. And then you add all that stuff in, and then the entire community gets access to that. But not only that, it goes onto the main website, and the main website is where we get, like, you know, thousands and thousands of views every single month, you know. So it's really like a nationwide MLS is what it is. All right, so we're selling those properties for you, and that's free for all members. Okay. That's you know, and you could do ugly houses and pretty houses. I mean, you could do land, you could list any type, commercial, small, any type of property, you can list it under properties for sale. Doesn't have to be specific to anything. Okay. So make sure that you do take advantage of that when you do get a property for sale. Okay. So if you're a wholesaler, you have several options. You could post it out in the private Facebook group. You could have your buyers list and let everybody know about that. And you can list properties for sale. List your property under properties for sale. That's 3 ways. I told you every single way, and every single one is 3 ways. And then also under rehabbing. So if you're rehabbing your house and then you're going to sell it after you've rehabbed it, that's where you're going to hire a realtor, right? You're either going to, number one, hire a realtor to list the property and get it on the MLS, or you could do what's super popular right now, which is flat fee listing. That's what I did. In the very beginning, I started out paying a realtor. I had actually an in-house realtor because we did like a ridiculous amount of houses a month. I think we sold like, 10 houses a month or something, some ridiculous amount of, oh my God, it was so many houses. And so we had an in-house realtor that was managing all that. And then I was like, you know what? I was like, man, my realtor, she made a couple $100,000 off of me. So then what I did was I was like, okay, I'm going to try flat fee listing. I got to save me some money here. So I started doing flat fee listing, which costs like $500 or whatever. And I started listing my properties and selling them that way. And I literally saved hundreds of thousands of dollars doing that. And so you could also do that. Now, the thing with flat fee listing is that you have to be able to negotiate that yourself. So, I mean, I had already done like 20, like something like 25 rehabs or 25 or 50 rehabs before I even did the flat fee listing. And so I kind of knew how to do all the negotiating. So I don't really recommend it. I mean, you could always do it, but I don't recommend it for newbies. But after a couple of deals, it's kind of like me with my my storage facilities. Right. So like I bought my first storage facility. I had no idea what I was doing. Right. And I was like so scared of raising the rents that I was like, I was like, if I raise rents, everybody's going to leave. So then finally, after a year of owning our first storage facility, I raised the rents and nobody left. Not one person. I kicked myself in the butt because I wasted like a whole year and like wasted a whole bunch of money, right? It's the same thing with, your houses. Now, when the market gets harder, maybe we need realtors to sell our properties. But right now the market's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why not just give flat fee listing a try and just see if it works, So there's a lot of options out there with liquidating your properties that you need to liquidate, essentially is what I'm saying. You got the iBuyers, you got the ML, you got the realtors and the agents, and now you got flat fee listing as well too. So plenty of ways to liquidate your property, and every single one of them is different, So, and once you really get into the game, you kind of figure out, what's the best ways to sell your house. Sell your property. Like for me, like storage facilities, I know that like I would get the most bang for my buck right now by listing it with like on the MLS, or with a commercial broker, because people paying crazy prices for those things. So I would want to get like, the most money, but maybe in a downturn, where you're going to lose some money on a property, you might want to consider listing that yourself. And a lot of people do this. Is okay, like especially when you screw this construction department up on your rehab, and you screw the whole thing up, and you're like, oh crap, now I'm like way over budget. You're like, okay, maybe I should just list my property and do flat fee listing so I can keep some of that money for myself, right? Those are kind of like some tricks that you can do throughout your property. So essentially, those are your departments. Depending on which niche you're going to get into, you're going to have one of these departments. You're going to go through one of these like last couple of departments, okay? Do you have any questions on the 6-step system? And hopefully I gave you at least 3 things from every single one of those departments that you should be like, now your homework is to draw this out, okay, and put it on like either a notepad or a big Post-it note. Like I have this wall right here, you can't see, but that's where I put like all my Post-it notes, and I draw things out and they stick to the wall. You draw it out and then you make it legible, like not as bad as mine, right? You draw all your departments of whatever your company's going to be. If you're not going to do, if you're going to not going to hold your properties, then you can get rid of this one. If you're going to wholesale, then maybe you get rid of these two or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So kind of draw your company out. And then underneath each department, you write the 3 things that you should be doing, right? So under office, you'd have like structure in your LLC, phone, electronic, make yourself electronic and virtual. Under marketing, you'd have free, direct, and online marketing. Acquisitions, you would have the acquisitions formula, which is really like, this whole formula right here. Under finance, you would have private money lending, hard money lending, and creative deal structuring. Right? Under construction, you're going to have like contractors, scope of work, spec sheet, and like project management. All right. Under management, you could have like, find them, train them, tenant screening and train them, and then like, manage them or something like this. And then under liquidations, depending on if you're wholesaling, rehabbing, then you would have like those 3 steps as well too. All right. So if you could do that, take a picture of it once it's done and post it in a private Facebook group and tag me so I can see that you're actually doing your homework. All right, this is management and this is liquidation. Management is if you're going to hold on to the property. So management is essentially finding tenants, tenant screening, training your tenants, managing your rentals, right? Managing repairs or whatever. Liquidations is like depending on whether or not you're a wholesaler or a rehabber, what type of property, how you're going to get rid of your properties. If you're a wholesaler, you've got 3 ways to find your buyer's list, right? I gave you those 3 ways. If you're a rehabber, then you're going to either do like iBuyers or flat fee listing or realtors or something like this. Like, how are you going to liquidate your property? So you should have 3 of every single one of the departments, the 3 steps that I gave you underneath each of those. If you can draw that up and draw it exactly the way that I just said it, and then put it on your wall to where you can see it every day, you will manifest that company. You will be able to create that company because you see it visually every single day. All right. So that is what your homework is to create your chart. This is basically your chart, your company's chart or whatever. What is it called? I can't remember what it's called. I'm talking about your chart, your company's chart. And your organizational chart, that's what it's called. This is your company's organizational chart. Now, in these boxes here, it's going to be like you, right? But as I started growing, I had an office manager I hired. I automated my marketing, so I didn't have to do that. And anything that I couldn't automate, then my office manager would do. I hired an acquisitions person. I hired a project manager. We had a management company to manage any holds that we had. Had a real in-house realtor to sell all of our properties. The only thing I did was money. I was the money magnet. That was my job. So I was the head of the entire company, and over the course of a couple of years, every single one of those positions got replaced with somebody else. And that is what your goal is. And when you have that, and every time I replaced somebody, I recreated this. I put my top 3 priorities for each one. I recreated my manifestation chart, and I would put, I put Sarah here, and I put Patrick here, and I had like Brandon here, and I had, as I grew, like every time that I updated my chart, and I would have like, okay, just 1 person and then me, 2 people and then all of me, 3 people and all of me. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to y'all? So as you grow, you can change your chart. You're always going to, change your chart to who is taking over each department. And then you're always going to have your 3 most important things that you focus on. And every time that you change it, those 3 things are, they change. Or this is the beginning steps. These are literally like everything I gave you is the 3 most important things you should be doing right now. But in a year, if you continue to work on this in a year, those 3 steps are going to change. And this whole chart is going to change. Your name is not going to be on all those departments. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Capiche? Is that a yes? Can you say yes on that? You say, yes, I'm going to do my homework, or no, Stacy, I'm not going to listen to you. You're crazy. Okay. And that's what I would like for you to do. Do that and post it out and tag me so I can see that you're actually doing your homework. right? That'd be awesome in the private Facebook group that we have. Any final questions on your journey, your beginner investor journey? This is the journey. Nobody's listening to me? Is everybody sleeping? Who's raising their hand? Somebody's raising their hand. Let me see if I can figure this out. Hang on. Dexter's raising his hand. Okay, allow to talk. Unmute yourself. Hey, Dexter.
Hey, Stacy. So I have a quick question.
Oh, you know what? Hang on, let me put my volume up. My volume's really low. Okay, do it again.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, great. So my question is, I guess, I don't know if this is more an advanced question, but when do you know when to actually move on to the next real estate adventure?
You mean the niche? What do you mean?
Yes.
Well, what do you want to do? I mean, are you like right now, you're just starting, you have no idea what you're doing, and you're just going to all the trainings? Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, like you're going to be like, after you go for a month or two to all the trainings, you're going to get like, it's going to start clicking. All right. What's going to happen is that you're going to like, everybody here, they think they all want to wholesale and rehab. Everybody here, right? But the truth of the matter is you get out there and start getting all these trainings. And I'm going to tell you, some of these teachers, what you're learning from them, you're going to be like, that is something that really interests me. And you should really just, on this part, you should go with your gut, right? So once you start really educating yourself on all the different types of stuff there, now don't spend like, the whole year just doing that, right? But like, after a month or two of going to as many trainings as you can, it'll start to click. Now you just joined, so give yourself some time, right?
Okay.
What trainings have you done so far?
I done creative financing, wholesaling, and what's the other one? Land. So I've done those three. Actually,
which one?
and
What was the last one?
The last one was land.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
so that's good. That's it. So get out there. Did any of you were like, oh yeah, I really want to do that? Or what was it like?
Land is definitely what I want to do. Creative financing. I think creative financing basically comes into all of them, plays with actually all of them. Like you were saying, like you would definitely need to know creative financing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for all of them, you have to know creative financing. So I would go to that one every single month. Definitely. Okay. Everybody should be going to that every single month. But you know what, Mike, if you decide to get into land, he knows so much. He knows creative deal structuring as well. Because that's all he does. Okay. And he does owner financing. Okay. He knows how to do all of them, but he owner finances his property, his land. William Tingle subject choose his properties. So I think just go, as I said, keep going to them, as many as that interest you, until you're like, okay, I think like I'm starting to get it a little bit. Let me start implementing something. Okay. Right. And Stacy, so once I get to that point where I went to them, like, let's say 6 to 8 months, and I've kind of like get the structure of each one of them. Should I start my business in each one of them? No. Okay, that was basically my question. You pick one thing and you focus on that. Okay. Yes. So that's something that I learned very early on, and I'm very grateful for that. My coach told me, he said, the only reason the wealthy are wealthy is because they master one thing and focus on one thing. So but the thing is that, because I always did one thing at a time. Like I did rehabbing, and then I switched over to storage. Now, the truth is that like whichever one that you start out on, it's not going to be the one that you end up on. Because the truth of the matter is like something like after a couple of years, it's like, okay, I've mastered this one. Let me go and do something else. So all these
Okay.
investors that are here, they've had their hand in everything. And the reason why is because if you've been investing for 20 years, and especially with the market, how the market goes, like right now, short sales, like going and checking out David's short sale meeting over the course of the next couple of years, short sales are going to be huge. Right. But that's only at a certain time. That's in a downturn. In an upturn, you never see short sales. So you have to be able to also adjust with the market.
Okay.
Okay. So right now, but the good thing is that land is in an upturn and a downturn. You can pretty much do land. That's why I like storage. In an upturn and a downturn, you can do storage. But residential, you can do residential houses in an upturn and a downturn, but it's different ways of doing it, right? So you may be wholesaling, or you may be doing like smaller rehabs versus bigger rehabs. So like in a downturn, you'll be doing smaller rehabs. When it's, at the peak of the market, you'll be doing huge, big rehabs and stuff, and that's just, so, there's always something for you to do, but it depends on what the market is. So no, you do not want to, first of all, you don't want to be waiting 6 to 8 months to get anything started. Like you should be within the next 60 to 90 days starting something. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Once you
Okay.
educate yourself. And remember, I told you, you should be doing this. If you're like, I want to get started right now, I don't want to sit here for 60 to 90 days and educate myself, then all you need to do is buy a list and mark it out, or start getting, or get your online marketing going, because your online marketing actually does take a couple months to get that going, right? Because it's online marketing. So you have to create you have to create like SEO and stuff. But, or if you don't have any money, do something. But if you want to get into the game, you should definitely be marketing. Okay. So after you've done a couple of months of webinars, you should be like, okay, I'm going to start marketing is what I'm going to do, whatever those strategies are.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much,
Does
Stacy.
that help?
Thank you.
Makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Who else has a question? Anybody else? Any final questions? Anybody else think of anything? Okay. All right. So I'm here to help you. You can just message me right in the Facebook group if you have any questions or challenges. And actually, you can message all the teachers. We're all there for you. Okay. All right. So I will see you at the next training. All right. Take care and have a good evening. Bye.